Ivan, what did you make of that? It was a pretty defensively resilient performance by your team.
Yeah, I felt like we started okay, but like they probably got the best of the start, and we defended quite well, particularly our line early on. They're a very dangerous team, the Broncos, and when they're fresh and got a bit of ball, it's a real challenge. So I thought we did that well. Then kind of wrestled the momentum sort of back and got ahead. And then sort of for the rest of the first half, I thought we looked pretty good. We left a couple of tries out there. I thought if we could have turned 8 into 14 before half time, that was probably more indicative of what how the half finished, but we didn't. So it was important that we started well again in the second half, which we did. So we dominated field position and possession. Didn't quite have the polish tonight, but in terms of how we like to play the game, I thought we did a decent job. So it's a good win.
You're starting to warm up. You're on top of the table for a day at least until South's play. You feel like you've had a couple of different kinds of wins, blown teams off the park. Your gritty win tonight, you weren't at your best. You feel like it's starting to really come together for you now?
I think the last 3 weeks have been that, yeah. You mentioned a couple of wins we had early, and we actually playing okay. We lost a couple of close ones, and we were playing okay, but we probably weren't playing consistently enough to like how we like to play. So the last 3 weeks have been more like that. So it's been good. And after a disappointing loss to the Tigers in Bathurst, I thought we've responded really well. The last 3 weeks, has been a bit more like how we like to play, and we've beaten some pretty good teams. So.
Nathan, you're the youngest player in premiership history to 1,300 points, just edged Graham Eady with your try tonight. I mean, things have gone pretty well for you. It's a great achievement on your behalf.
Yeah, thanks. It's probably not something that you think about too much, but I actually just found out in the sheds after the game. It's pretty cool, but to be honest, it feels like I'm really just still getting started, so still a long way to go, and I think it's something you can look back on at the end of your career and be happy with it, and something you can tell the grandkids about. But for the time being, I'm still just looking ahead and trying to stay present and enjoying each game that we're playing, each training session, and being around these boys.
You're coming. Your next game will be for New South Wales. How do you feel like you're hitting that series in as good a form as you've been coming into an Origin series?
I think in terms of the games we've had leading up, they've been really good preparation for Origin. I feel like it feels like this whole year we've had sort of tough games, apart from maybe bar a couple, but they're always pretty tough. Tonight again, it was very tough. So I think that's prepared me well. But Origin is another beast, and you've got to get that preparation right through training and connection within the squad, and then put your best foot forward on game night.
Ivan, do you feel like Dylan Edwards, I mean, everyone's talking about him, obviously you've spoken about him many times, and obviously Stephen Crichton had a very good game tonight, but do you feel like it's almost, how can you leave Dylan Edwards out of an Origin team? I think he made 270 odd metres again tonight.
Well, I think there's probably one good reason why you wouldn't pick him, and that's his name's James Tedesco, so I can't see how that's going to happen. What I would say, though, is that if Dylan got the opportunity, I think he wouldn't let anyone down. He's absolutely built for that arena and that type of game, which he's just shown consistently for the last sort of 3 years. So it's a long series, and that's what I would say on that.
Could you play him anywhere else in the 17? Do you think?
Well, you could, but he's only ever played fullback really for the last 3 years, I think, and I'm not a selector, but like I said, if the opportunity came up, I would have no hesitation in picking him. Yeah.
There's a bit of a moment tonight where Jerome pushed Chris Sutton. He seemed to apologise pretty quickly after. What was going on there? Have you any idea what happened there?
No, not really. I've heard something about it, but I think it's. I don't think there's much in that.
Yeah, Rami mentioned it to me straight after the game. He said he didn't realise that it was the touchy, and then apologised straight after.
He thought it was Taruba. Is that what he was saying?
Yeah.
What What about Crichton? Mate, do you think he's done enough to retain his position in the New South Wales team, playing on the wing?
Well, yeah, I think he's a pretty special player. He comes up with some big plays and big games, and he's done that at centre and also on the wing. So I think he's got that versatility there. But yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, we're not selectors, but I think he's done a pretty good job at putting his best foot forward.
Okay. Thanks, guys.